in the moment, and I think this is a big thing, is that when things are overwhelming and there's so much going on and there's all these pressures, the most important thing is actually to come back into the moment, because in the moment it's you can't feel so stressed because you're not worrying about the future. You're not beating yourself up about the past, because I think when we beat ourselves up about the past, that's kind of where depression lives. When you get too worried about the future, that's where anxiety lives. So if we can bring ourselves back into the moment, that's where we can actually have a clear head. We can make good decisions, because we can't make good decisions, particularly in business, if we're stressed.
Welcome to the Fitness CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to helping fitness entrepreneurs launch and grow successful gyms. Here's your host, Bryce Henson.
So I want to dive into the lens that you teach now from a leadership perspective, because other companies hire you. But before I do, I want to kind of dig in one more time specifically to this background, because to your point, to hear that this is one of the most grateful experiences in your life is it can be mind-boggling, right? And I give you so much credit and accolades for that. Walk us through that process. And I'm now we're talking to a business owner who, maybe they just got a divorce. Maybe they're having a hard time with payroll. Maybe they just went through COVID-19 and we have brick and mortar facilities and their business contracted, to a point where potentially they're, in a really tough situation. Many of these and more can come up in the life of an entrepreneur. So, from your lens and from a teaching perspective, what are some framework or tools that you can provide someone in that position to really give them the opportunity and realization that, hey, I can actually take this and become better for it and not actually be, succumb to it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as you sort of touched on, particularly with the pandemic and stuff like that, I realized that my own personal experience is quite extreme in, it's extreme consequences, extreme impact, an extreme situation. But I feel that the pandemic has given most people a little bit of a taste of what it's like to have their lives changed in an instant and having absolutely no control over it. So I feel that, my experience has become probably more relevant in that, because I can sort of apply those things. I think that's the thing is, a life of an entrepreneur, and I've started 2 businesses myself. I'm still running one, been through a divorce as well. So it's like I've sort of throw all those sort of things into the mix. But I think in the moment, and I think this is a big thing, is that when things are overwhelming and there's so much going on and there's all these pressures, the most important thing is actually to come back into the moment, because in the moment it's you can't feel so stressed because you're not worrying about the future. You're not beating yourself up about the past, because I think when we beat ourselves up about the past, that's kind of where depression lives. When you get too worried about the future, that's where anxiety lives. So if we can bring ourselves back into the moment, that's where we can actually have a clear head. We can make good decisions, because we can't make good decisions, particularly in business, if we're stressed. If our body's in that fight or flight or freeze mode, we don't have the best of our abilities with us. So the thing that I use to bring things back into the moment is gratitude. So in that moment, first step is going to be to stop and say thank you. And it sounds counterintuitive, especially when you're in a moment where everything just feels like it's too much and you can't see a way out of it. But the rationale behind using gratitude is you actually can't feel bad about something you're grateful for, and you can't feel two opposing emotions at the same time. So if you can go, thank you for the opportunity to be in this moment right now, that just brings that grounding into the moment, and it removes the stress. So the first step is always just like thank you, gratitude, get in the moment. The second step I like to get people to look at is, okay, where's the opportunity in this? What's the gift in this? What can I learn from this situation? Sometimes that isn't going to be immediately apparent. Sometimes but it's asking the question, it's planting the seed. Sometimes you might, if you actually give yourself the space and you're in the moment and you actually just, and again, space is a good thing. So, set aside half an hour of just thinking time without getting stressed about it, and just go, okay, well, where are the opportunities? If this moment is to be a gift, what could that gift be? And even just start to, get your notepad and just sort of go, well, where could this take us from this moment? And then the third step, and the third step is something that, again, it's planting a seed. Often it's not apparent in the moment, is, okay, so we've had this situation. we've discovered these things, we've found all these opportunities, and we've found what we could learn from it. The next step is like, how could that help somebody else? Because if we have a situation that seems negative, we've learned something, then we could help somebody else with that. Like, what an amazing gift. Like, how valuable is that situation? And this is that framework, the thank you, what's the lesson, how could this help somebody else? That's just something it's just three simple steps in any moment, just brings you back into that, okay, I'm in the zone, I'm in a problem solving zone, I'm not in a problem finding zone. And that can be a really good way just to shift out of the overwhelm into, okay, where's the opportunity? Where's the possibilities in this moment?
Oh, Stacey, I love that. So much gold, and especially that framework, that step-by-step plan of action can really help. For me, I give a keynote called Pain, Passion, Purpose, and it's really about going through your pain, developing a passion, and really, providing a purpose, and, developing your purpose, which to your point really could be helping others. So very similar in kindred spirits, and love that.
Hey, my friend, hopefully you love that short teaser of the recent episode on the Fitness CEO podcast. To check out the full episode, it will be dropping shortly. But in the meantime, there's some other episodes around here that you need to see.